The bass thumped a crowded Atlanta nightclub as Monique Brooks danced under the colored lights, her gold sequin dress catching every flash of the strobe. Her laugh cut through the music as she raised her champagne glass, toasting with friends, her body moving freely to the rhythm. Her smile was wide, her eyes bright with excitement as she twirled and mingled, the life of the party. Just 7 hours earlier, her husband Jamal Brooks lay dead in their backyard, his body still warm, blood pooling beneath him from 2 gunshot wounds. Have you ever wondered how someone could dance while their spouse's body hadn't even reached the morgue? What kind of person celebrates when they should be drowning in grief? This isn't just another story about cheating. It's about the ultimate betrayal that ended with murder and a wife who couldn't even wait a full day before celebrating her newfound freedom. Look around you. That neighbor with the perfect smile. That couple who seems to have it all. Do you really know what happens when their front door closes? Do you know someone who seems to wear a mask, hiding who they truly are from the world? Maybe you felt that chill when something just doesn't add up about a person, but you can't quite place why. The truth is, some people aren't who they pretend to be, and Jamal Brooks learned that lesson too late. If you believe justice should be served and truth must be told, hit that like button right now and subscribe to Crazy Crime Files. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Stories that might just save someone else's life. Tonight, we're taking you inside a crime that shocked the quiet town of Willow Creek, Georgia. You'll see how a respected mechanic's life ended at the hands of the people he trusted most. You'll witness how a seemingly perfect marriage masked years of lies. You'll understand the warnings everyone missed until it was too late. This isn't just a story about murder. It's about recognizing the red flags that might be waving right in front of you. Because sometimes the most dangerous threats aren't strangers in dark alleys, but the people sleeping right beside us. Willow Creek, Georgia sits between rolling hills and pine forests, a town where church potlucks and Friday night football games bring everyone together. It's the kind of place where mail gets delivered even when the address is wrong, simply because everyone knows where everyone else lives. Main Street features a row of family-owned shops where folks stop to chat on wooden benches outside the ice cream parlor that hasn't changed its recipe in 40 years. In this tight community, Jamal Brooks stood out for all the right reasons. His auto shop, Brooks Reliable Repairs, became the go-to place for honest work at fair prices. When Mrs. Johnson's ancient station wagon broke down, and she couldn't afford parts, Jamal found ways to keep it running. When the high school needed sponsors for their baseball team, Jamal's logo appeared on uniforms without hesitation. His laugh, deep and genuine, became a familiar comfort at community cookouts. A father who never misses kids' school events, and a neighbor who showed up with his toolbox before you even asked for help. Beside him was Monique, who turned heads with her confident walk and designer clothes that seemed a touch too fancy for Willow Creek. As the founder of Elite Events, she planned every major celebration in town, from wedding receptions to corporate parties in nearby Atlanta. Her social media showcased perfect table settings, elegant decorations, and beaming clients. At community gatherings, she moved through crowds with ease, remembering names and details about everyone's lives, making each person feel important during their brief conversations. Together, they lived in a renovated craftsman home with a wraparound porch where they hosted summer barbecues. Their 2 children excelled in school, played sports, and smiled in family photos that lined Monique's Instagram page. The Brooks family vacation pictures, beach trips and Disney World visits received hundreds of likes and envious comments. They drove matching SUVs, volunteered at charity events, and seemed to balance work and family life with remarkable ease. But keen observers noticed small cracks in the perfect picture. The way Monique's smile didn't reach her eyes when Jamal touched her shoulder. How she checked her phone constantly during family dinners. The separate bedrooms they claimed were due to Jamal's early work schedule. The hushed arguments that neighbors pretended not to hear. What would you do if you sensed something was wrong in a friend's marriage? Would you speak up or mind your business? How many broken homes stay together just to maintain the perfect family image? 6 months before his death, Jamal began noticing the changes. Monique's phone would buzz at midnight, and she'd take calls in the bathroom with the shower running. Work meetings suddenly ran late 3 nights a week. New clothes appeared in her closet, outfits Jamal never saw her wear. When questioned, her answers came too quickly, too rehearsed. It's just a difficult client, or I'm planning a surprise event. At the town diner, whispers followed Jamal. The waitress's pitying glance when she refilled his coffee. The quick subject changes when he approached groups of neighbors. His best friend finally broke the silence after a fishing trip. People are talking, man. Monique's car was spotted outside the Horizon Hotel twice last month. I didn't want to say anything, but you deserve to know. Jamal checked their bank statements. Large cash withdrawals he couldn't account for. He found hotel receipts stuffed in her desk drawer. One night, he discovered her wedding ring left on the bathroom counter during one of her business meetings. Still, doubt warred with 20 years of trust. Was he being paranoid? Was there an explanation he hadn't considered? The truth arrived in the form of a text message accidentally left open on her tablet. A message from someone named Marcus. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place, same time. I miss your touch. Marcus Johnson wasn't from Willow Creek, a popular DJ at Atlanta's high-end clubs. He drove a black SUV with tinted windows and wore expensive watches. At 32, he was 8 years younger than Monique, with connections to wealthy clientele who hired him for exclusive parties. His Instagram showed a lifestyle of nightclubs, beach vacations, and VIP sections, a world far removed from small-town Georgia. The confrontation that followed split their home in two. Separate bedrooms became separate lives under one roof. Monique denied everything despite the evidence. The children sensed attention, grew quiet at dinner, stopped bringing friends home. Jamal lost weight, couldn't sleep, struggled to focus at work. What Jamal didn't know was that he wasn't fighting to save a marriage. He was fighting for his life. Friday, June 12th started like any other day for Jamal Brooks. He arrived at his auto shop at 6 a.m., fixed 4 cars by lunch, and mentioned his assistant that he was leaving early. Monique and I are having dinner tonight. Just us. The kids are at my mom's for the weekend. He smiled, the first genuine smile his staff had seen in months. I bought her favorite wine. Maybe we can talk things out. Jamal stopped at the grocery store, selecting fresh ingredients for Monique's favorite meal, blackened salmon with roasted vegetables. He added chocolate-covered strawberries, remembering their first anniversary, when they couldn't afford a fancy dinner, but splurged on this simple dessert. Perhaps the gesture would remind her of simpler times, when love felt uncomplicated and true. At home, Jamal set the table with their wedding china, delicate plates with silver trim they saved for special occasions. He placed a small velvet box beside her plate containing a silver bracelet, not as a gift of reconciliation, but as a reminder that he still cared, still hoped. He lit candles, opened wine to breathe, and waited. By 7 p.m., Monique hadn't arrived. Jamal texted, "Dinner's ready when you are." No response. By 8 p.m., the salmon had dried out. The candles burned low. He called straight to voicemail. At 9:30 p.m., Jamal heard a car in the driveway. Relief washed over him until he looked out the window and saw not Monique's SUV, but an unfamiliar black vehicle. He stepped onto the back porch, confused, expecting a lost driver asking for directions. The neighbors would later tell police they heard what sounded like fireworks. 2 distinct pops 10 seconds apart. Mrs. Abernathy, living directly behind the Brooks home, described looking out her kitchen window to see a tall figure running through the yard. She thought little of it until emergency lights flooded the street an hour later. Jamal's body was discovered by Monique when she finally returned home at 10:45 p.m. Her screams brought neighbors running. They found her kneeling beside him in the backyard, his white shirt soaked red, his eyes open to the night sky. The first bullet entered his chest. The second, his head. Death had been quick, but not instant. Enough time for pain, for fear, for the devastating realization of betrayal. The news spread through Willow Creek like wildfire. Parents locked doors in the town, where many still left them open. Children were kept inside. The local paper's headline ran simply, "Beloved Mechanic Murdered." Outside Jamal's shop, a memorial grew. Flowers, cards, children's drawings, as the community struggled to process how such violence could touch their peaceful town. What do you think happened that night? Was Monique really surprised to find her husband's body? Or was her show of grief just that, a show? Did anyone see something important but not realize it? Leave your theories in the comments below. Sometimes the best detective work comes from people connecting the dots together. While Jamal's blood was still being analyzed by forensic teams, Monique Brooks walked through the VIP entrance of Pulse, one of Atlanta's most exclusive nightclubs. Security camera footage timestamped 5:48 a.m., just 7 hours after discovering her husband's body, captured her arrival. The gold dress she wore sparkled under the club lights, her makeup fresh, her hair perfectly styled. Not a single tear had smudged her mascara. She bought a bottle of Dom Perignon for the table, recalled bartender Kevin Martinez. She was dancing, laughing, taking selfies with friends. I remember thinking they must be celebrating something big. Club photographer Alicia Washington, who didn't know Monique personally, described the scene. This woman was the center of attention. She kept saying to new beginnings when raising her glass. Nothing about her behavior suggested she was in mourning. Nothing. 3 separate witnesses confirmed seeing Monique kiss a man matching Marcus Johnson's description. They weren't hiding it, said one patron. They were all over each other, acting like teenagers, completely wrapped up in their own world. When news broke in Willow Creek about Monique's nightclub appearance, shock turned to disgust. The prayer vigil organized for Jamal transformed into heated discussions about his widow's character. Neighbors who had initially brought casseroles to Brooks' home now whispered theories on front porches. Monique's event planning clients quietly canceled contracts. The question on everyone's lips: what kind of woman parties while her husband's body is still warm? Detective Tyrone Ellis had seen a lot in his 15 years with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, but Monique's behavior stood out. Normal grief has patterns, he later explained. Shock, denial, pain. People don't typically celebrate hours after finding a loved one murdered. That's not grief, that's relief. Ellis began his investigation with simple questions. Why was Monique so late coming home that night? Why did she need to be at a club hours after her husband's murder? Who was she meeting there? But each answer only raised more questions. When interviewed, Monique claimed she was in shock and not thinking clearly after finding Jamal. People handle grief differently, she told detectives with dry eyes. I just needed to be around friends. I couldn't stand being in that house. But Detective Ellis noted something telling in his report. Not once did Monique ask who might have killed her husband. Detective Ellis built his case like a puzzle, each piece fitting precisely into place. He started with Monique's timeline on the day of the murder. She claimed she'd been at a client meeting until 10:30 p.m., then drove straight home where she discovered Jamal's body. The first crack in her story appeared when Ellis obtained security footage from her alleged meeting location, a downtown Atlanta hotel. Camera feeds showed Monique entering at 7 p.m. but leaving barely 30 minutes later, creating a 3-hour gap in her whereabouts. Where were you between 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. on Friday night? Ellis asked in their second interview. I was driving around, thinking. Our marriage was in trouble. I needed space, Monique replied, her voice steady. But cell phone tower data told a different story. Her phone pinged near her home at 9:15 p.m., right around the estimated time of death, then moved toward Atlanta shortly after. The investigation turned to phone records, revealing 128 calls between Monique and Marcus Johnson in the month before the murder. Text messages, though carefully worded, painted a picture of a relationship that went far beyond professional contacts. The problem will be gone soon. Monique had written 3 days before Jamal's death. Then we start our real life together. Marcus Johnson's name appeared repeatedly in witness statements. His black SUV matched Mrs. Abernathy's description of the vehicle she saw speed away that night. When questioned, neighbors who'd never met Marcus identified him from photographs as a man they'd seen parked near the Brooks home several times in recent weeks. Ellis's team traced Marcus's background, finding a man with expensive taste but limited income. His DJ work at clubs provided access to wealthy clients, but his bank account showed frequent overdrafts, until a sudden $5,000 cash deposit 2 days before the murder. The source of those funds? An ATM withdrawal from Monique's personal account. The murder weapon surfaced next, a 9mm handgun found in a dumpster 3 blocks from Pulse nightclub. Ballistics matched the bullets that killed Jamal. The gun had been wiped clean of prints, but microscopic blood spatter matched Jamal's DNA. Most damning were the deleted text messages recovered from Marcus's phone. 2 hours before the murder, she said he'll be home alone tonight. Kids at grandma's. Back door unlocked. 1 hour after, it's done. Meet me at Pulse later to celebrate our freedom. We're something nice. As evidence mounted, Detective Ellis confronted Monique with photos of her celebrating at Pulse. Her composed facade finally cracked. "You don't understand," she whispered. "You have no idea what it's like to feel trapped in a life you never wanted." Marcus Johnson lasted 45 minutes in the interrogation room before he crumbled. Separated from Monique and faced with overwhelming evidence, his confident facade dissolved into tears. "She told me Jamal was abusive," he sobbed to Detective Ellis. "Said he controlled all their money. Threatened her when she tried to leave. I thought I was protecting her." He paused, handshaking. "Then I find out it was all lies. The man never laid a hand on her. She just wanted his life insurance money and a fresh start with me." Marcus described how Monique had planned every detail, ensuring the children were away, creating an alibi, selecting the evening when Jamal would be alone and vulnerable. "She convinced me we'd never get caught. Said it would look like a robbery gone wrong." While Marcus confessed, Monique maintained her innocence in a separate room. Her story changed with each interview. First, she knew nothing. Then she knew about the affair, but not the murder. Then she knew Marcus might hurt Jamal, but never believed he actually would. Her tears appeared on cue when beneficial, vanishing when pressed for details. "I love my husband," she insisted, though financial records told another story. Monique had quietly taken out a $750,000 life insurance policy on Jamal 6 months earlier, naming herself sole beneficiary. She researched untraceable poisons and how to stage a home invasion on her laptop. She'd set up a separate bank account in her maiden name. "I just wanted to breathe again," she finally admitted when confronted with the evidence. "Do you know what it's like to wake up every day next to someone you don't love anymore? To smile at neighborhood barbecues while feeling dead inside? I built a business. I deserve more than this small-town life." In Willow Creek, disbelief turned to rage as details of the conspiracy emerged. Jamal's co-workers recalled how he'd worked overtime to support Monique's business ventures. Church members remembered him watching the children alone so she could attend networking events. Friends described how he defended her when others questioned her commitment to their marriage. The ultimate betrayal came to light when investigators discovered Monique had been planning a move to Miami with Marcus. Tickets purchased the week after Jamal's death, using his life insurance money to fund their new beginning while his children mourned their father. The courtroom fell silent as Marcus Johnson took the stand, his orange jumpsuit a stark contrast to the tailored suits he once wore. Avoiding Monique's gaze, he spoke directly to the jury. "We planned it for weeks," he testified, voice barely above a whisper. She said which door to use, when he'd be alone, where to find him. She promised we'd be together once he was gone. His testimony lasted 3 hours, detailing text messages, secret meetings, and how Monique had drawn a map of their home, marking Jamal's likely location. Across the courtroom, Monique sat emotionless, her designer outfit replaced by plain clothes, her makeup minimal. She flinched only once, when prosecutors played the nightclub security footage showing her dancing hours after Jamal's death. The jury deliberated for just 4 hours before returning their verdict. Guilty on all counts. The judge didn't hide his disgust during sentencing. Mr. Brooks was by all accounts a good man, a loving father, and a valued community member, he stated. He was murdered not by strangers, but by the two people he should have been able to trust most. This court sentences Monique Brooks to life imprisonment without possibility of parole for first-degree murder and conspiracy. Marcus received 25 years for his role as the triggerman, his cooperation with prosecutors earning him the possibility of parole after serving 18 years. As Monique was led away, she locked eyes with Jamal's mother, Gloria Brooks, the woman now raising her children. Gloria had sat through every day of the trial, sometimes holding photos of her son, sometimes clutching her grandchildren's hands. She listened to every horrible detail without breaking down, determined that her grandchildren would see strength in the face of unimaginable pain. "Those children lost everything," Gloria told reporters. "Their father taken forever, their mother revealed as someone they never truly knew. They need stability now, not more trauma." In Willow Creek, healing came slowly. Jamal's auto shop reopened under his assistant's management, with profits going into a college fund for his children. The annual community festival now includes a scholarship in his name for students pursuing vocational training. His absence remains a wound that time has softened but never fully healed. Was justice truly served in this case? Some say no punishment could ever equal the crime of stealing a father from his children, a son from his mother, a friend from his community. What do you think? Was the sentence fair? Should Marcus have received the same sentence as Monique? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 5 years have passed since Jamal Brooks took his last breath in the backyard of the home he'd worked so hard to build. His children, now teenagers, visit his grave on birthdays and holidays, bringing flowers and sharing updates about their lives. His mother Gloria says they have his smile, his work ethic, his kindness. The best parts of him live on. The case has become more than a local tragedy. It speaks to truths we often prefer to ignore. That deception can hide behind the most convincing smiles. That greed can corrupt even seemingly loving relationships. That people sometimes value freedom and excitement over commitment and responsibility. I check in on my friends' marriages more now, admits Tom Wilson, who worked alongside Jamal for 15 years. Not in a nosy way, but I pay attention. Ask real questions. Don't just accept we're fine as an answer. The Brooks case changed how Willow Creek views itself. Security cameras appeared on porches. Neighborhood watch programs formed. The community lost some innocence but gained awareness. The annual memorial walk for Jamal brings hundreds of participants carrying flashlights, symbols of bringing hidden truths to light. Psychology professor Dr. Karen Mitchell uses the case in her lectures on relationship deception. What makes this case powerful is how familiar the setting was. Not a dark alley or abandoned building, but a normal home in a friendly town. The warning signs were there: emotional distance, unexplained absences, financial secrecy, patterns that appear in countless relationships before violence erupts. Similar cases emerge with disturbing regularity across America. Spouses who choose murder over divorce. Partners who value insurance payouts over human lives. The details change, but the foundation remains the same: betrayal of the deepest trust. If Jamal's story has affected you, please subscribe to Crazy Crime Files. Each case we cover might help someone recognize danger before it's too late. Have you experienced relationship warning signs that concerned you? Do you know someone who escaped a potentially dangerous situation? What cases should we cover next? Your stories and suggestions in the comments help build a community of awareness that could save lives.